Welcome Kingsway Christian School. I'm so excited to be here with all of you today. My name is J.C. Polanco. I am from New York City and I live in the Bronx. I'm an attorney and I teach at the City University of New York. I can't wait to hear your presentation. Please, judges, introduce yourself to the students. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Ellen Iwamoto. I direct the civics programs at the Annenberg Public Policy Center at the University of Pennsylvania, and I'm in Philadelphia. Looking forward to hearing about immigration from you.
Hey, good morning. I'm Jeff Owen. I'm a retired trade association executive, worked for the American Bankers Association here in Washington, D.C. for over 40 years. Welcome, good morning, and we're looking forward to hearing from you.
If you could please introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Holland Shashed.
I'm Josiah.
I'm Ava.
All right, well, welcome. Did I miss any one of you? Mark?
I'm Mark, and this is our teacher, Mrs. Nolan.
All right, thank you so much for introducing yourselves, and welcome, Ms. Nolan. I can't wait to hear your class. You know, we're doing Unit 6, what are the responsibilities of citizens? According to the American Immigration Council, quote, immigration law in the United States has been built upon the following principles: the unification of families, admitting immigrants with skills that are valuable to the US economy, protecting refugees, and promoting diversity, end quote. Does today's immigration policy reflect these principles? Why or why not? And in your answer, keep in mind, what are the major cultural and political issues regarding immigration that face America today? What changes, if any, should be made to our current immigration policy? And should the United States admit more refugees in view of the worldwide crisis of displaced persons? Why or why not? You may begin.
Immigration is a major controversy in our society today. It has significant positive and negative consequences for our country and nation. We believe that today's immigration policies reflect these principles to some extent, but this can vary from one administration to another. For example, the Biden administration appears to have placed a greater focus on reunifying families, while the Trump administration placed a greater focus on admitting immigrants with valuable skills. Throughout the years, most presidential administrations seem to have valued protecting refugees and promoting diversity. According to the Federation for American Immigration Reform, it is estimated that there are 14.5 million illegal immigrants residing in the United States. This can pose many complications in American communities, such as dangerous threats of drug cartels and human trafficking.
Additionally, migrants are usually willing to work for lower wages, causing wage disparities. This means that if there are enough people to work for a lower wage in a community, it can cause damage in job growth. Also, according to economicshelp.org, a rise in immigration on public services like healthcare, schooling, and overpopulation, which can increase the cost of housing or rent. Alternatively, when migrants go through the legal process of becoming citizens and eventually become part of the American society, this can benefit our country because essential work is being done. This means that many migrants are apt to perform certain duties that natural-born Americans might not be willing to do. Also, migrants in the community help promote diversity, new ideas, and cultures. It helps create a global market, encourages entrepreneurship, and creates fairer levels of population distribution.
Because of the latest presidential election, America's policies regarding immigration are undergoing major changes. As of now, President Joe Biden has signed over 50 executive orders, many of which are related to immigration. Since entering office, President Biden has reversed many of President Trump's executive orders, one being his idea to build a border wall to help minimize illegal immigration into the United States. President Biden immediately paused the creation of the border wall because of his supportive views of immigration. Based on many of his decisions, we believe President Biden's choices on this issue have been very controversial within Americans' main political parties. For example, President Trump issued a travel ban intended to keep Americans safe. Since this decision, President Biden has fully reversed it by allowing these citizens of these countries to re-enter our country. Orders like these can have extensive effects on the people of our country. Because of this, it is important to have immigration laws that are followed. Therefore, we believe that the enforcement of border security is essential in order to best manage our given resources.
In light of this situation in our country, we collectively believe that America has been put in a position to help and give refuge to the people that need it. We certainly welcome the immigration of people to the United States of America, but we contend that it should take place through the proper immigration process. In view of this major crisis in our world, we should help other nations by showing and guiding displaced people on how to become American citizens. However, we do need to find a way to balance how many refugees we admit into the area because of the risk of overpopulating certain areas. Overpopulation can deplete natural resources, deteriorate the environment, and bring a rise in unemployment. Finding the right balance is an important task in order to help as many people as possible take refuge in our country without harming the citizens currently residing in the area. Thank you for listening. We are now ready for follow-up questions.
Well, thank you so much for your presentation. I have a question. Obviously, the United States doesn't get along with everyone. I'm sure all of us don't get along with everybody. Should the United States allow immigration from countries where we just don't get along with their government? Maybe we don't trust them or we just have conflict. Should we allow people from these countries into the United States?
I think that there should be ways to help decide if these people could become like hostile to our country. But America has been given lots of resources that could be beneficial to other countries. So I think that we should try our best to help as much as possible.
I agree with my colleague. I also believe that if we let immigrants into our country, immigrants from country that we might not get along with, that could also help our relationship, and it could advance the growth of our relationship better than if we just don't let them enter our country, because that could create even harder feelings towards each other. And the only way to really develop a better relationship with another country is to interact with them. And one of those ways is through immigration also.
I think we should allow these immigrants into our country as long as they take the proper steps of like becoming a citizen, and as long as they're not like a threat to our country.
Well, thank you so much for your answers. Judges?
Hi, I think you maybe had touched on this a little bit, talking about the need to balance refugees in certain areas because of employment or healthcare issues, overwhelming a system. So do you think state governments should have the power to regulate immigration, and why or why not?
I do believe that state governments should be able to regulate immigration because they will know how many people are residing in that area, so they can decide how many immigrants would be able to live there without causing overpopulation or any other issues.
I agree with my colleague because state governments have a better idea of what they should do with their state rather than the federal government, because that's over the whole entire country. And when it's a smaller area, it would be easier to know how to help like immigrants in their state.
I have a question. I want to come back to the wall. You mentioned the wall, and you mentioned the need to watch over who's coming and going. But foundationally, should we build a wall along our border with Mexico to help stop the flow of illegal immigration? How do you feel about that? Why or why not?
I think that, like we said in our paper, there can be lots of threats from outside countries. So I think it would be a good idea to build a wall because that would stop the flow of illegal immigration. But as a country, immigration can be a very good thing, but they should just do it with the right process instead of just doing it illegally.
I agree with my colleague. I think we should build a wall because I think it could help with like the crisis at our border right now, and it'll just like help keep Americans safe and eliminate the like if the immigrants are like threatened or like are a threat to our country, it could just help that situation, and I think it could just help overall.
I agree with my colleagues. I believe that a wall is necessary at times because right now with Joe Biden and his presidential, while he's president right now, he's stopped the building of the wall that Trump has started, and he's letting a lot of immigrants come into the country, and he's giving them a lot of things that US citizens are not getting. And I think his main, what he's trying to do is to like have the immigrants support him so that in the next election, they'll be more willing to vote for him if he runs again. And because he's letting them into the country freely, and he's letting them have a lot of money for different areas. And so because of that, they'll be more apt to vote for him later on. So I think because of that and what's happening right now, I think a wall is necessary right now, just to kind of digress the amount of immigrants coming in. Although immigration isn't a bad thing, I just think that it should be handled the right way.
I agree with my colleagues because having a wall would encourage citizens to enter the country in a legal way and become a citizen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kelly, do we have time for another question? And I have a question regarding the children that had no idea they were being brought here undocumented because they were kids. Do you think that these kids should be here, or should they be sent back? What do you think about the Daca program? Do you think it's something that should be fixed, something that works, something that doesn't work? What are your views on that program?
I think that kids, if they just come over by themselves, it could cause lots of problems with displaced people and families. So we should find out ways to solve this problem and like allow families to come over together, but like in the right way.
I agree with my colleague because like right now with the border crisis, we see many like children just coming over to America by themselves, and they don't have any place to go because they don't have like family and stuff here. And so I think we should figure out a way to fix this problem.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Oh, okay, 1 minute. Should we encourage new immigrants to become US citizens, and why do you think, or why not?
I believe we should encourage immigrants to become US citizens because then they have a voice in government. When you're a US citizen, you are able to vote. And if they're planning on living here permanently, then citizenship is an important thing to have because then you can participate more in presidential elections and have more of a voice in the outcome of our election.
I think it's important that they become citizens because then they can like play their role in our country and like by paying taxes and like my colleague said, like voting and playing a role in government and stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for your presentation. I think you did a really good job. I heard so many diverse positions. It seemed that half of the class agrees with one policy, the other section of the class agrees with another. I think that diversity is good. And I believe that you were very succinct in your explanations. So and your ability to use current affairs and applying them to this presentation, I think was very good. So thank you.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you very much for your presentation. I think immigration is a very complicated a tricky topic. It's very hard to figure out the different policies, and there's so many concerns to consider. But I think you did a very good job of explaining and supporting your positions. So thank you very much and good luck.
Yes, I agree with the other two judges' comments. The only thing I would add at this point is I think you really surfaced the trade-offs that are there. I mean, on one hand, we want to be a welcoming country, we want diversity and all, but you said on the other hand, it has to be done right. And that's a balancing act. And I think you surfaced that particular argument or at least debate successfully. It was interesting comments on the wall. I think that's been a difficult one for us all to get our arms around. There are pros and cons for both of those. And you demonstrated an awareness of the last half a dozen years politics in all of this, which I think have certainly driven that, even to the point of talking about immigrants as new voters potentially. And for somebody who's lived in Washington, that's sort of the guiding principle in many ways, whether you like it or not, is to getting elected and being successful that way. So thanks very much. Good luck for the rest of your tour here. I enjoyed your presentation very much, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.